So I'm interested in dancing with you a little bit. You used some really good terms that resonated with me. The mirror and reflection, the delicious space of steadiness. I love that. I'm exploring the vibration of love in and of itself, just the essence of it, how it flows through me, how I interpret it, the thoughts that come to mind, the sensations that move through me. And I want to play with that with you a little bit. Feeling it from my perspective feels open. I can feel the pulse, I can feel the movement of it, which is so satisfying. It makes me, I can feel curiosity on the wings of it, because from this loving perspective, I'm looking at variety from a new vantage point. There's a distinct absence of guardedness or just that anticipatory flinching kind of thing. And that feels wonderful. It feels freeing. It makes me frisky. It makes me adventurous. And that feels so good from this perspective. I am curious to know, from your collective non-physical perspective, dance with me here. When I'm experiencing these things, I'd love to know what your experience is as we blend and integrate on love, period.
As we were talking to a friend before, there is the moment of clarity of question, and there is a moment of clarity of answer, and there is vast majority of discovery time. That place of answer and that place of question is emotionless. There is really no emotion in clarity. There is really no emotion in that place of receiving the clarity, either in the answer or in the question. There is just this light bulb coming through where you are now really aware of what is your wanting, or you're really aware at that moment of what is the time for you to direct into the next question. In other words, when you're starting to redirect yourself from the place of question into discovery to experience it in your physicality, and that moment of clarity when you start directing yourself into looking for some trouble so you can formulate some new questions. So we'll start there with you, that the moment of clarity is happening in this emotionless state, and that majority, we agree, of your time is colored with the beautiful emotions. But we will look at emotions from the perspective of being the tool, from being even that place of guidance about where are you moving through and where are you at that moment in your creation process. What is mostly dominant within you in your creation process. So you can go and move around your creation process, experiencing all of these positive emotions on this side being that integrated place of everything that exists. And then this other side, which is more attention-based in experiencing others. It's, in other words, all of those that are not so popular negative emotions. Now, how far you stretch yourself in each of those places of negative emotions, it can be from a very subtle curiosity into the question, or it can go into discomfort, or it can go into the problem, or it can go into the anger and the rage, or it can go into fear, into depression, into desperation. In other words, it can go in variety of those things, but it always goes through something question related. And on the other side, it can be really felt as a easy, steady place. It can feel like love, it can feel like appreciation, it can feel like in enlightenment, it can feel like enthusiasm, it can feel any of those positive emotions. In other words, the radiance between your comfort in your positive emotion place and radiance between your negative emotions or discomfort has variety of levels, and they're infinitely moving at all times. But before we digress even more there, we want to bring again to your attention question and answer clarity is the moment of redirecting, and it's an emotionless place. So you can see predominantly your creation process from that which you call place of love. And now we will stay there. We will not go to the other side, because this is what you wanted to see more clarity. It is not that you hooked onto this wave of love and now you're applying it to your whole creation process. It is that you are observing the creation process so consistently that every time the creation process on any topic that happens, you dominantly see that part of that emotion and this emotion and this emotion. You don't dance necessarily and into discomfort and into fear and then some love and then discomfort and some ease and then the question and then some love, but you're predominantly seeing it that way. In other words, the creation process, possibilities for you to experience infinite layers of emotions is there, but because you get so steady, about that vibration of love that you speak about, you can see that predominantly, you can see your discovery predominantly from that place. And this is the most natural, steady place for you. It is so steady for you that it's easier for you with a little bit of practice to find that inner resonance. As we said to the friend, that those survival instincts are not so active because sometimes they will cause you to have some of those negative emotions be dominant. But once you start seeing things from the place of being, you can then be steady in a place of any emotion and feel still your steadiness, knowing that it's only the matter of time for you to switch it, your attention, from love to appreciation to some discomfort to more love to appreciation to some question, from love to appreciation to some curiosity, and so on and so forth. So we want you to know that while that experience that you predominantly have means that you're predominantly making choices in that which is vibration of love, which is that navigating system that you have. This is your internal navigation. That's why we say that emotions and your feelings are the best tool. But as we just recently started saying, is that you are not tool. You are the whole process. And you are the whole process that you can be experienced from that place of being with such steadiness that you can, little by little, not really identify yourself of wearing a coat of these emotions or these emotions, but being so steady that when you're experiencing them, they give you fullness of what it is. They do not throw you off. Positive emotion can throw you off if you're not used to it. Negative emotion can throw you off if you're not used to it. In other words, anything can throw you off if you do not feel steady. But as you go and as you are steady in that place of understanding that you can just be moment by moment by moment, that emotions are that tool for you, but they do not fully define you, then you fully can experience everything that exists from that place of full, blended, integrated experience, allowing your life force just to look for more and more and more expression.